Hello friends, in this video I am going to cover Evans Gambit for you. So Evans Gambit, you can play Evans Gambit when white starts with e4, black replies e5, knight f3 and knight c6, then bishop c4 and bishop c5. So at this position, when black plays bishop to c5, you can simply play b4 and sacrifice your pawn. So it is an aggressive line of the Giaco piano. White offers this pawn to divert the black bishop on c5. If black accepts, white can follow up with c3 and then d4. The idea behind playing all of this is to take control of the center while also opening diagonal to play bishop to a3 or queen to b3 at some point, preventing black from castling king side and threatening the f7 pawn respectively. If black declines, then this b4 pawn takes out a space of the queen side, and white can follow up with a4 later in the game, so potentially gaining a tempo by threatening to trap black dark square bishop. So first see what happens if black accepts the gambit, which is very natural looking move where bishop takes b4 and white replies with c3. So now bishop has a couple of options. First he can go back to e7 or a5. So these two options are most probably has been played. Bishop to c5 or d6 are less likely to be played. Okay, so first see what happens if black plays bishop to a5. So here on this position, white usually plays d4. So at this stage, there is no point capturing this d4 pawn because you simply have given up white a center. So d6 is very logical move. So at this position, castles for the white, and then bishop to bishop to b6. Now you can say d takes e5, where d takes e5 and then the queens have been exchanged. Of course you cannot capture the queen by the king, because this will you will lose the right to castle. So of course knight takes d8, and now knight takes e5. So the threat is on the f7 pawn, so bishop to e6 is more or less forced. This variation takes the sting out of the white's attack by returning the gambit pawn and exchanging queens, and according to Fine, the resulting simplified positions is psychologically depressing for the gambit player, whose intent is usually an aggressive attack. However, there is another line which I would like to show you. From this position, instead of capturing the queen to b3 is also very interesting. Um, and from so queen to f6 is more or less forced because you have to defend this pawn at f7. And now bishop to g5. So attacking the queen, so queen to f6. So bishop to d5 can be played, where knight to e7, where bishop can take this knight, bishop takes e7, and um, now king to e7. And after king to e7, bishop takes e7, bishop takes c6, and then queen takes c6. And now knight to e5 can be played, so attacking the queen. Now queen goes to e6, again offering the queen exchanges here. uh, but from this position, from the d6 line, when you played d6, so here queen to b3 is again an option where queen goes to d7. So again defending this pawn, and now d takes e5 when and now bishop to b6. Uh, but friends, here on this position, alternatively black can meet d4 with e takes d4 uh, when white try when white can try queen to b3. So here on this position, queen to e7, and then of course you can castle because this pawn was also hanging, but this pawn cannot be captured by the queen because of course d7 is coming. F7 pawn is always a threat until the black castles. But friends, at this position, uh, bishop to a4 a3 is also very possible, and which will uh, increase an attack onto the queen, and it will also block the castles as well. So uh, black has to play d6 at some stage to prevent this. So, but friends, let me also cover what happens if you decline the gambit. So declining the gambit, you have a couple of options. If first you can go to, yeah, so you can go to bishop to b6. So declining the gambit, uh, where uh, a4 is a normal continuation. So basically you are increasing pressure on those two minor pieces, but due to the loss of tempo involved, most commentators consider declining the Evans Gambit to be a weaker than accepting it, than giving up a pawn at later stage. Also, black can play a rare counter gambit variation, which is from this position. Oops, just 1 minute, guys. Yeah, from this position, black can play d5 from this position, but this is thought through rather a bit dubious as well from this as well. So that was all for the Evans Gambit. Let me know if you like this in your play in your games, and do give me a comment of the of on those lines. Thank you. Till then, bye bye.